I have been playing World of Warcraft for more than 15 years now, on and off. I started my journey in private servers, as back in the day, if I asked my parents to pay monthly subscriptions for a game, they would have laughed at me, and honestly, I do not blame them. Molten WoW was my home back in the days. I leveled up a Blue Elf Paladin, and I have never had so much fun in my life. I have played a lot of games like Tomb Raider, Counter-Strike, Need for Speed, Drakan, StarCraft, Tsar, games like Jazz, Jackrabbit, but this was my first MMORPG. For the first time, I felt that my progress was meaningful, and on top of that, I loved the social aspect of the game, as my guild was full of people from all around the world. Until the server got hacked and I lost all of my characters and fell into depression. Molten WoW then returned as War main, and to this day it still works, and it's mainly on Wrath of the Lich King, which is one of my favorite expansion, but it has been a Wrath of the Lich King server for more than 10 years now, and I really don't understand it. As for 10 years doing Ice Crown every single week, it gets boring. As time went on, I grew up, went into university, started working, and I was making my own money. And then I thought to myself, why not give it a try? It finally happened, and I subscribed to Blizzard. I played hardcore, I tried Season of Discovery, I tried Classic and leveled up through TBC, Wrath of the Lich King, Cataclysm, and now even in Pandaria. It was good and I had a lot of fun, but it was not like in the past, as now as an adult I have a job and I have lots of different responsibilities. I tried retail, but it's just a completely different game. It's not the game that I fell in love with. Of course, I made a lot of new friends along the way, but I still wasn't 100% convinced that this was the right thing. And then it hit me. I watched a lot of videos about it and how it got trending, but I never imagined myself playing it. And then I said to myself, why not try RuneScape? I wanted to try this game without a single minute in it before and without a single tutorial watched on what to do, and that would give me a better experience as a new player. So here goes nothing. I download the client, register, do everything that it's required of me, and it's time to play RuneScape. I log in and I am greeted by this cozy dark fantasy vibe. Generally speaking, I really like those old graphics as they bring out instant nostalgia. I'm immediately thrown into this nice tutorial that, to be fair, it was really useful. I get to learn the basics immediately. How do I move? How do I rotate the camera? Wood chopping, fishing, cooking, mining, and etc. The dialogues really set up the RP feel. Then I am taught how to fight. I like the simple approach to fighting. But the coolest thing for me is that here in RuneScape, I actually feel that the shield makes a difference. You know, in WoW, when you have a shield equipped, it reduces the damage of that hit, which I always thought was weird. Like I just blocked a hit with my shield, why am I taking damage? But here, in RuneScape, it finally made sense. When I blocked an attack with my shield, 0 damage was dealt to me, and that felt amazing. I still don't know what specs there are in the game, what classes they are in the game, but just because of that mechanic, I'm sticking to a weapon plus a shield. Everything so far makes perfect sense. You have matches, you get wood, and boom, you start a fire. Another thing which is very important and I always take into account when playing a game is the sound design, and oh boy, I like it here. It's so simple and yet it makes so much sense. Whenever you hit an enemy and block their hit, the sound is so satisfying. And by the way, I stumbled across this randomly. You guys can vote on updates? That's pretty dope. I know Blizzard in the past was looking at their forums and keeping an eye on what's going on, but that's in the past and that's a topic for another video. Another thing which I noticed is that RuneScape has a paid membership, which is reasonable, I guess, since it's a free game. To be fair, I got annoyed a few times because I randomly stumbled across some zones and places, and in order to access them I had to be premium. Not to mention that the prices from my adventure paths were good, but if I had the membership, they would have been so much better. That leaves a bittersweet feeling in me, and it's definitely not for my taste. WoW has an entirely different payment system, and since everybody is already playing, additional payments are simply for cosmetic stuff like mounts, pets, and etc. So the pay-to-win feeling is non-existent, although one can argue that it's actually a pay-to-play feeling. Damn. Although I know nothing about the game, I guess there is a big gap between players with a membership and players without it, which is not my cup of tea. Anyway, back to reality. At the end of the tutorial, I immediately understood that RuneScape has a home teleport, which is the equivalent of Hearthstone in World of Warcraft. And I know that I mentioned this a lot, that this is the equivalent in WoW, blah blah blah, but to be fair, playing World of Warcraft for so many years gave me an understanding of game mechanics and I kinda know what to expect. So I'm not completely in the dark here, which is always a good thing. Something that I really like, but I always forget to use, is the prayer mechanic. Damn, I love it. It can make the difference between life and death, and oftentimes when I return to grab my rewards from adventure paths, I remember to visit the church and pray at the altar. It's peaceful and I like it. Now, let's talk about adventure paths, as I am too low level for quests yet. Description is fairly simple and the directions are clear. You know exactly what to do and where to go. It's very intuitive and easy to navigate through your attacking styles and to choose the best option for the adventure path you're currently looking to finish. I like the slow progress here. I went on from killing chickens to small goblins to big cows to farmers and even wizards, which are actually scary to be honest when one of them hits you for 4 damage with one spell. And some of the farmers have 12 hit points, so that's a lot. I like the slow progress. Most games nowadays give you that instant gratifications and sense of accomplishment without you actually going through a grind. I like that World of Warcraft has planted that feeling in me, and like in real life, it should not be easy. You need to dedicate time and patience and do something a lot of times. And I did that. I killed a lot of NPCs, but to be fair, I never felt bored. I was always looking at my experience bar, waiting to see what they will drop so that maybe I can improve my cooking skill or simply gather something later to sell it or drop it as I did not have enough space in my bags. And thank God that after nearly 3 hours of playing the game, I finally found the bank and I could deposit the junk from my bag. That was a huge relief. With every reward that I got from my adventure paths, I felt stronger and stronger. Those little accomplishments along the journey are what makes a game special, and I'm glad that I could immediately recognize that feeling in RuneScape. 10 out of 10, baby. Last but definitely not least, I'm happy to announce that I actually managed to complete my first 2 quests and I'm working towards completing the 3rd one. I was randomly walking when I clicked on a coffin and a ghost spawned. From there, I talked to the bishop, I talked to another guy, got an amulet, talked to the ghost, found his skull, and boom. It was all done. My prayers went from 1 to 10, which makes a huge difference. And even though I did not have a quest helper like in WoW, everything is so well explained and I managed to find it pretty easy. The second quest was a funny one and I had to deliver a devastating message from Juliet to Romeo. So I hope he took it well, but I doubt it to be fair. So, what are my thoughts of the game after I have played it for 3 to 4 hours? I love it. I'm really not familiar with what is considered strong or efficient, and I don't know if I have made good progress for that playtime, but I enjoyed it, and it seems like a meaningful progression to me. I now know how to gather, how to prepare my own fire and cook meals. I know how to store my items, how to set up the appropriate combat style. I have completed my very first quest and I have completed 30% of my adventure path. The only downside for now is the social aspect of the game, as I see a lot of players but nobody is talking and I have not made any friends along the way. But that could be on me as well, as I only typed in the chat 2-3 times as I was busy with my leveling. I hope you enjoyed my initial journey, because I sure did. I'm thinking of making this a series and see how much I can progress and what will be my final conclusion when I have experience in the game. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, if I'm doing something wrong or in general any advices that could help me in the game. You can share what is your best experience from both games, as I would love to read about it. As always, thank you for sticking by and feel free to hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed the content. I'll see you in the next one and take care.